Welcome everybody back to another bold cast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Meshi, episode 24 of season 1, the finale, I believe. Very sad day today, as we are about to begin watching the final episode of Meshi. But I did hear from Discord that Meshi season 2 is confirmed.
Good. Excited.
So we're good to go. Well, in like 2 years or something, but still. Let's just get into it. Not much to say. Let's check it out. Leave a like and subscribe for Meshi.
I forgot. Oh.
Oh, so Marcel would be losing a lot of time.
Yeah,
She'd be losing a lot of years. Oh, the fear of death from her dream. I see. You know, that's smart. I like that logic. Yeah, because otherwise everybody would have been elves.
Yeah. Or into a person?
Just are so done.
Oh.
I like the callback to Chill Trek being able to hear stuff because of his giant ears.
She's like grabbing the pack and so funny.
Oh!
Oh my god.
Oh no. Not Kensuke. The legendary blade Kensuke.
Oh no. They get changed. Oh.
What the hell happened? What was that?
What?
Nothing happened. Oh, the sword changed because they made a circle? So they have the changeling power now? The spores must be on them. We'll change the gargoyles.
Yeah. Everyone make a big circle.
Is it gonna be like the OP? One of them will have to remain unchanged, though.
Unless they
use the gargoyle, yeah. If they change the gargoyles, then they can complete the circle with the gargoyles, but...
You guys.
No. What are these camera angles with Marcel? Make a circle. This is like the most D&D encounter that they've done so far.
Or is it? This is 1,000 times creepier. I don't like that.
I think it was just the music that made it that way, but
What is it now?
maybe it can still bite you, Lyles.
Give it a hug. Or they're gonna like.
What the fuck? What was that?
Tired.
Kensuke's looking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
中身が変化して鍵になったのはキノコのせいと水洗いすれば治るんだろうか。ダンプリングが余っているからそれを茹でるぞ。
またあれか。別に食い飽きただけ。
あいつは調理法を変えてみるか。フライパンで油を熱し、
deep fried?
そっと入れる。皮がきつね色になったら引き上げ、
Ooh.
油を切る。茹でずには食が細い上に貝に手をつけない。手間暇をかけない。
I love he takes her like habits as of the hair is still as like a new challenge.
あげただけ。
Oh no.
Whoa.
やはり口を果たすようだ。そしてダンプリングは種類が豊富。
キノコが生えたらどうすんだ。
Well, it'll just change to something else in your stomach, wouldn't it? Once you eat it.
And
If
they
you're
ate the hippogriff meat.
さあ、手伝ってくれ。完成。
Whoa.
They ate the hippogriff meat before they transformed, though.
Oh, you mean they transformed?
Before they transformed,
Yeah.
they ate the hippogriff meat and they transformed it. But if you put it in a thing's mouth and it transforms, why wouldn't you the same apply to you?
Because they washed off the spores.
Oh, right. Shit, I'm dumb. Smart. That looked really tasty, though. Oh, there's a normal.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
元に戻ってる。
目覚めが最悪だ。そういや、前にレッドドラゴンの肉で作ってなかったか？
ああ、これは失ったのだ。
ああ、そう。もういいけどさ。
Too bad.
ついのやだな。
Didn't change Kensuke back.
Because it doesn't fit in the sheath anymore.
いや、困るよそんな。
見せなさい。するこいつ。みんなで輪になってボコボコにするから。で洗ってきなさい。
You can't make your cursed sword look even more cursed.
I think he just wanted to farm the changeling things because he thought they were cool. Oh, it's like a trolley.
Hmm.
おそらく自動トロッコの中を見てみよう。
She hates it.
もう動かないでしょ。って売ると結構いい値がつくんだよな。
It's kind of crazy.
天使何したの？
お前たち兄弟はなぜ冒険者に？俺？
I kind of dragged her into it.
夢見る手。話せば長くなるんだ。俺は故郷の村に嫌気がさして、町の学校へ行って。
Join the army.
結局そこにも馴染めなくて。
I can imagine.
町を通りかかった大将に拾ってもらう。
もうええかよ。
雑用をやりながら転々と南下していたから顔だけ見て
Ew.
どうしても自分も行くと言うから一緒にこの島にたどり着いたわけだ。かりの頃は金剥ぎが盛んで護衛の仕事はいくらでもあった。でそのまま迷宮に入り浸るようになり今に至る。
Why does he look so worried?
将来設計なの。お前はともかくなぜ妹まで学校 鬼太郎にの子供時代はあまり恵まれたものではなかったが魔術のサインがあったばかりに阻害され周囲に嫌気がさして俺は1年先に村を出てしまった学校に入るまでマルシルに会うまでずっと一人で食事をとってたんだその姿を思うと胸が痛くなるはるかに精神が頑強だったから案外何とも思ってないかもしれないだからもう二度とファリンを置いていかないと少なくとも彼女が選んだ
I don't give a
新しい
shit
誰かに現れるまでは
なんだよバッチーな。よくいろんなものを拾ってきてくれた。わからない木の実とか、よくわからない草とか、って思ってたけど。
食べたかったんだろう
うん。うん。
また一緒にご飯が食べたい。
すぐに終わるよ
I love how Suzumi's just a literal cat. That animation for her was so cute.
卵に例えただろう。比べて五つ実などは具入りオムレツだ。頑張れば具を取り除くこともできるだろう。ボロボロになるのは想像にたやすい。だから五つ実の場合、もっと慎重に複雑な手順を探る必要。
つまり下半身の竜を切り離せばファリンを人の姿に
Just regenerate her limbs.
さすがにそう単純じゃないだろう
で保存食を作ったが、それらはすべて死肉へと戻り、パリンと融合してしまわなかった肉もあった。わしらが夕食で食べた部位だ。肉は自己を失う。それはこの生と死が曖昧な明確な掟なのだと思う。竜の部位をすべて食べてしまう。
I'm sorry, what?
追い払うことができる。
You have to
We have
eat
to
fallen?
her.
そんなことを言うなんてそういうことには反対かと
人の蘇生には反対だ。
But if you're gonna do it.
パリンは今ただ彼女を迷宮から解放してやる。
That's fucked up.
That's
They have to
crazy.
eat fallen from the tail up. Sounds great to me, but I feel weird saying it, says Laios. Yeah!
I mean, it sounds like a good idea.
I mean, where's the cutoff point, though? Would you have to eat to her
Yeah.
hips?
And
To
you still would need other stuff, right? Like you'd need some goats or something like they were talking about.
5人で頑張って1日1キロずつ食べても10年以上かかる
We need more people down here.
Well, the elves are on their way. Well, not quite yet.
物を言う時だ。
Guys, we're having a feast on the bottom level of the dungeon.
My sister is the main course. Please enjoy.
多くたち
Oh, the
たく
orcs.
さん食べてくれそうで期待できる 住人たち少し食欲に乏しいと
Not just the appetite, it might be... There might be some magical interference, I feel like.
あの二人は情に訴える魔物食に興味ありそうだ
Surely.
Yeah.
He was so
Super
interested.
dependable. He seems really interested in that.
あと1個中隊は欲しいな
I wish that there was another group of elves coming down here right now.
はっきりした1最深部から有力の獅子を解放する
What is that gonna be like?
獅子を無力化するサリンの十部分を
It's gonna be
There's nothing weird
horrific.
about this at all.
You're still gonna be like horribly hurting falling.
なんだこの不快感は。
迷宮の空気がよどんでんだよ。かなり変わったんだ。見りゃすぐわかる。後ろの連中には気に食わない変化だろうな。
Ah, shit.
Oh.
そんなもの食べるな。
随分と騒がしいな。
I just want to
ファ
eat
リンの言う
monsters.
分を幸せにするのはどうだろう骨から出しを
I feel like stewing would be worse because then you're consuming way more
Like,
stuff.
yeah.
Like the mass just goes up like crazy.
ダンジョン飯。
Wait, that's it?
Oh.
ただひたすらに
食は生の特権であったダンジョン飯ああダンジョン飯
I was wondering what those lights were. That's it? Man.
That was a good end to the season.
Yeah, good sum up. Hopefully, that seems like the kind of ending you'd get if it was going to happen next year, rather than 2 years, like a sooner thing. And I hope it is, because I bet they were really surprised with the success of the show. W.
Man, what a nice little like kind of wrap up episode and talking about what they're gonna do. Big feast on half of Falian's body. Get the lion out. Get rid of the evil magician. Eat Falian.
Team up with the elves.
Yeah. If only, I love they're like, oh, we have this group, this group, this group. Oh, if only there was another group that could help us eat. They're gonna come down and be like, damn, they cooked here.
Literally. And apparently there is another transformation that happened to the dungeon. I wonder what that was.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I feel like getting the orcs, I mean, everyone will probably be involved to some degree. If the feast does happen, I feel like it's so interesting to think of like a feast being like the big finale of it, if it's so fitting.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
if it
like,
does turn out like that, like something about that being like everybody comes together, not for like a big siege battle sequence,
for a big meal.
but for a giant meal, and that's the big sealing thing, and then a ritual to bring Falling back, and then they go live their life, you know?
And then everyone's happier because the dungeon's kind of, you know, everyone realized the importance of like, you know, eating the dungeon food and working together and a life of balance and stuff.
I wonder what the winged lion is going to be
Yeah,
like. Because I think it's meant to elicit or evoke like a Aslan. I feel like most people who are even a little bit familiar with Western fantasy will think of Aslan. But something about the way the show does monsters and animals and stuff makes me think not, but also maybe the significance is such that it will be like a talking more like, you know,
what if they eat the lion?
like a different side of Fallen type thing. Well, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm really excited for the next season.
Or maybe it's not even going to be there. Maybe it's already dead. I'm really excited for next season.
I really loved this season. I liked sort of the journey that we went on throughout it.
100%. Like, I was really surprised by this. I thought, like, I didn't think this was going to be, like, when people were telling us to check it out and everything, I thought it was just going to be another fucking, you know, isekai-style, video gamey, fantasy type thing. And
With food.
instead, you know, the fact that it's more tabletop game oriented rather than video gamey in its logic, and the fact that the logic is, you know, I think my favorite part and what I appreciate the most about it is that is the logic of the story, is the logic of the world, the way that that the magic works and is tied into the act of eating, and how everything interacts with that, like how there's the dungeon and the Meshi, you know, there's the two sides of it, and the fact that the Meshi isn't just, oh, we get to draw nice meals for our characters to eat, and it's like a, you know, if everyone can say, oh, that's so delicious, and that's like the depth of it, the fact that there is more beneath that. First of all, that as a focus, like just the food aspect as a focus, is interesting enough and keeps it from being like, you know, not self-aware or too self-aware, edgy, you know, isekai style fantasy anime. The fact that we're focusing on the food and not like, you know, main character is badass or something is one step towards brilliance, but then finding a way to take itself seriously and to have a real narrative and plot come out of that, but to tie that in such an interesting way to the act of eating and the act of preparing food, and how that is like a magical process and a magically significant process. All that shit, and how that interacts with the characters, all that stuff, that's what I mean by like the logic of the series, all that stuff tied together. The interaction between those things is what I find really special in the story.
It's really good. And
I really appreciate it. It's awesome.
I like that the story was able to kind of go through a couple transitional phases of like what, you know, at first it's like, oh, we're just cooking and this and that, and then it kind of gets bigger. But I like that it was able to do that while still kind of keeping the heart, even though the focus of the episodes changed a little bit at some points. Like I feel like the characters were likable enough, and
they're strongly written enough.
The heart of the story was good enough that it could, you didn't feel like, oh, I signed up for this and now I'm watching this, you know. It felt very natural, and it felt like a good progression. And and it stayed fresh the whole time. It didn't just evolve into like, okay, they're basically doing the same thing every time, you know. Like it was very like, you know, there's the mushrooms and there's, you know, this and that, and there's like there's some dark stuff of like, oh, did someone eat a person, basically? Did someone commit cannibalism? Oh, I don't know. We'll have to find out. Yeah.
There's a lot of range, but it doesn't come off like for shock value, or for, you know, when the whole thing was Senshi not knowing if he ate his, you know, compatriot, it didn't come off like, I just really want to fuck with the reader, you know? I just really want to, like, I want to throw some in there that really throws a curveball. Like, it because so much had been built up, and there had been already, like, a tone shift, like, with Fallen being, like, you know, all crazy and evil and stuff. Like, when that happened, and that was all going on, it felt really natural and in line, and like the story had been building inevitably to something like this. You know? Especially when after Fallen had been transformed into a monster, and the audience starts thinking about, like, well, what's the line then? Like, where, like, if Fallen's a monster, is Fallen a monster? Is Fallen Fallen? Is Fallen a person? You know, how does this work? Fallen doesn't seem to be acting like a person, but it's clearly her. It's not, you know, she's not fully changed beyond any kind of recognition. And that matters. And that's the other thing, is it's like, yeah, I don't know. Just the fact that, I think, this is a kind of a weird thing to communicate, but the fact that the looks of things and the way things physically, like, the way things physically are, matters magically. It's not like magic is rarely, or magical creatures are rarely, like, balls of energy, or, you know, amorphous metaphysical things. It's like everything has a physical weight and mass and presence, and sort of, like, magic. The magic is physical. The magic is, like, you can touch it, you know, like, something about that is really attractive to me, because it makes it feel material. It makes it feel like something that you don't need to be, like, a crazy powerful wizard to, like, interact with it. There's not, like, the separation between, like, the magic wielding parts of the people in the story and people who know about magic, and then people like Laios who don't know anything. It's like, I don't know, it just feels like it has, like, a texture to it that I really like. I don't know. I just really like the story's, like, approach to all the fantasy elements.
It's very cool.
So good. And the characters are really strong.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I didn't know what to think. I just thought, like, Marcel, waifu girl. Chilchuck, like, scrappy, you know, rogue guy. And then strong dwarf and main character. But, like, it wasn't very long before it becomes clear that it's not, like, just that simple.
Yeah.
That, like, Laios is clearly, like, autistic or something, or, like, has some kind of shit like that, and is, you know, and that is a present thing in the story, that it's never, you know, he's very consistent with his character. Whenever there's something really fucked up happening, he's just so involved in his special interest. And, you know, Marcial's relationship with Fallen feels really real and emotional. And Izuzumi being a cat, she's acts a lot like a cat, and it's not just a cat girl, like, you know, being cute. It's like she's kind of abrasive and, you know, solitary, like a real cat. And Chilchuck,
but she
clearly
does
has some
care,
shit going on,
you know, like a cat.
And Chilchuck, I don't know, he's probably the least, like, developed of all of them, but it's not because he's, like, a thin character. It's just because everybody else has been getting a lot more focus. And then Senshi, obviously, there was a lot going on. We've been wondering about what his deal was for the whole series.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, I'm just a guy cooking food. And you're like,
what's up with him?
Okay,
like,
I guess.
Is there something beneath the surface here, or what's going on? And there is, you know, there was a lot to do with him. I don't know. There's just, the show did, like, everything right. Like, and the animation was great too. I liked all the, you know, the stuff that was clearly more trigger focused, and then I think the other side was Madhouse, right? I like that. I like both sides. I love both those studios, and I think that they both, you know, the people who worked on it clearly care about the story. Like, it's I don't know was there anything wrong with the story? The only thing is, like, sometimes the fan service was, like, a little bit, like, to go from the show that, like, clearly was making fun of fan service to using it's different and a different kind of thing than something like Konosuba, which is just, like, all about fan service, you know? So whether or not you care about that or like it or don't like it or whatever, it's just that's the only thing that, like, kind of grinded against me. And not just because it's fan service was present, it's because, like, the show in the earlier episodes was very, like, making fun of the tropes in fantasy anime that, like, have, you know, the whole vines thing and the, you know, the slime that, like, melts clothing or whatever. It's like they set up these multiple things that would normally be used for, like, really overt fan service. And Ed made fun of them and made fun of the idea of doing that as a way to, like, say what kind of fantasy they're trying to do. And then we got, like, around halfway through and all the stuff with falling, and there was, like, a little bit of animation there, but that wasn't enough to, like, really fuck with it for me. Like, it was noticeable. It was noticeable because it was, like, clearly a difference in presentation, but not because it was, like, actually a problem. But that's the only thing that I could say was, like, the only thing that felt at some points out of place, but not because it's just fan service, like I said, because it was sort of made, that's the kind of thing that the show would make fun of at previous points in the story. So, you know, that's the only thing that I could say, but everything, you know, I don't know anything that I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't really like that idea. Everything that was introduced, I'm like, oh yeah, that is way cooler than I thought, or, like, I didn't think it was going to go that direction, and I'm really glad that it did. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like
that's everything.
Everything was so good, and I did like sort of the episodic nature of some things leading into the, like, overarching plot that is, you know, has been more present in the second half of the season, but we still have the episodic of, like, you know, this time we cooked this, or, like, we fought this time, and then it, you know, moves on in the next thing. I feel like that kind of structure for a show like this that is, for the most part, like, very lighthearted and, you know, having fun. And I feel like it works really good. And also, sometimes, like, a lot of times it was, like, the half of the episode we're doing this, and half the episode we're doing this, like, how it's always, like, this meal / this meal or whatever. I feel like that also, especially for comedy shows, I really like that when they break the episode into more than one part, basically. Yeah, and all the side characters, like, when they were all introduced, I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but every time it turned out all right, and I ended up liking it. And it makes me even more happy that we, like, met all those people, because now we're, like, gearing up for the finale where we're gonna have a big feast with everyone, and I really want to see that, you know?
Yeah, and from what people said, it seems like this is gonna be a 2-season show. I think people were talking about that kind of earlier on in the season, before, like, around the time the second course started. People were talking about, like, how long it might be, and 2 seasons for a show like this sounds like a great time. You know, it sounds perfect. Sounds like the kind of thing that I would want to, like, watch it all and then go and read the manga to see extra stuff. I wonder if they'll do an OVA.
Maybe. That'd be kind of cool.
Banger. So good. Excellent show.
Yeah.
Excellent
I like
show.
it. I'm sad we have to wait, but I'm also...
It's maybe a 9 or a 10 for me, I think.
Yeah. I really like... I feel like it would probably be, like, a 9 for me. I really enjoyed it. I really like the weekly, like, just coming in and watching it every week. And I never felt like, oh, I'm so mad that I have to wait a week. I wish that I could binge this. Like, I kind of liked having to look... I liked being able to look forward to it throughout the week. And because, like, there's some shows that I'm like, man, I feel like I would like this a lot more if I could just, like, binge the whole thing and, like, really get into it. But this one, I'm like, this was such a nice thing to just, like, you know, every once a week, just, like, have a good time, watch some Dungeon Meshi, and you just know that it's gonna be good. And then, you know, and then you can just, like, keep going with your week.
I feel like that makes a good show even better. Like, that, like, makes enjoying a good show even better, because a show being good isn't just that, like, the story's good or whatever. It's it knowing that you're sitting down to watch a good show, like, is in its own, like, a really good reward, you know? Like knowing I can, you know, I don't have to worry about whether this is going to be satisfying or good or whatever.
Yeah.
I just know I'm going to sit down and I'm going to walk away and I'm going to be satisfied once it's over. You know, that's on its own is like a really good feeling. And it's like it's the kind of thing only really good series can like provide.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Really good.
Really, really good. Thank you guys for watching our reactions to Dungeon Meshi. What should we watch next? Leave a comment down below. Hope you guys enjoyed our reactions. See you guys in season 2. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.